Welcome to Fuzion. Look at this big old boy. Gee whiz. The monster. Hey, put some more on, you slobber it there. That's all they do. This actually looks kind of snug. It may or may not be dyed core. A lot of times it'll just lift right up. So, but we will look at how they took out. This was an insert trim like this one here. You see how they boogered all over it? So that's why we use the other. This is a snap-in. It just snaps right inside there. And the water gets down in there and trickles all the way down. Stuff we use is going to go snap in and snap over. We'll replace it all. Get all here you go. It just doesn't want to stick a lot of times. And then that's how you get your leaks. They come down into the wall, run down, and then you got some problems there. Then you're calling us. That's an access vent. If you wanted to put like solar, or maybe there's some wires, you just take that cap off, you reach inside the roof. So let's see, keep a moseying on. You can see all this. See if I can focus this. See all that cracking in there? I call it eggshelling. It's like when you have a hard-boiled egg and you go to crack it, then this is all the fractures. Some people call it spider webbing, but this roof has seen better days, that's for sure. If you have one of these, see inside there, you need to seal that, because water's going to get in there, and there's a screw right here. There's a screw here. So water will get up inside there. See, it's not sealed. Almost nobody seals these things. And then it gets down behind that screw and will start rotting things out. So this here, from what we can feel, that noise says yay. But anyhow, if you have that, that's what you want to do. And we're still trying to put our scaffold together. I'll have it in the front. I'll have to walk around, get my exercise, I guess. And got a couple more plumbing right there. Skylight. And we had an AC right here, and my AC guy has already taken that off. So, and then there's the antenna right there, and that wire. I'll walk around the other way and show you. So we're about ready to strip this off. I'll just give you an overview. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 3 vents, but none of them have covers on them. We like to see covers on them, so we may end up putting them on. We'll go around this other side. Hey, I'm on the video, man. No one wants to hear you. They want to hear me. I'm the star of the show. Come on, he was trying to steal my thunder. Star of my own show. Yeah. The moron show. That's what we'll call it. All right. So we got an antenna here. That's right where we go. And then same thing with this plumbing. And that plumbing, like I told you, if you have these, seal in there. And then it's probably not going to stick anyways because it's plastic. So it should be primed. You'd have to find a specific caulking that would actually adhere to plastic. There's a spider. I'll have to get rid of him. This is what I was going to show you. Right here, you see that boot is all kind of rotted over. But what happens is, a lot of times, see the water will come down the wire, and it'll get behind that boot. And then it'll get down, see that hole? And it'll trickle down, and then you have a leak. So if you have something like that, seal it up. We don't put these back on. I don't know what antenna they're putting on, but there's a shaft right here. It runs all the way down, and then when you crank it up, that's what lifts it. But that shaft only bites on there like 3/8 of an inch. And it's going to be a pain in the butt for me to try to elevate this and put a nice curb on it, because the shaft, if you did, the shaft would be up, recessed up in the ceiling. You wouldn't be able to get at it. And some people say you can replace them. I'm not going to get all into that for an old crummy antenna. Most of the time these things are outdated anyhow. So there's another one of those access panels there, the access vent covers, whatever you want to call them. But there's something there. So, and that's about us so far in our Fuzion. So this is an oldie. If we're going to get, when we get this posted, I'm pretty sure they're going to sell this. So if you're interested in it, you can reach out to us and we'll get you in contact with the owner. Some of our customers, they sell them, and I think there's another one over there that may be for sale as well, but at least you got a decent roof on them and you don't have to worry about it. So, and we'll extend the warranty over to somebody who buys it. So we, depending on how long they have it, typically we throw the warranty to the new owner for 10 years. But if they come in 12 and whatever, it wouldn't matter to us. We just like to see happy customers, you know. This corner is, there's a piece of metal here that's a little loose. You can kind of see it there anyways, but it's not the worst I've ever seen, that's for sure. Moreover, this thing is just really failed. The roof has just failed out. That's what it is. So, but that's about us and our Fuzion. So we are going to get going. We're going to put in that front rail, and we're going to get our walk boards on there. Then we got to lay everything out on the roof, and away we go. What a mess. So we got some rod in here. They've got this is a vapor barrier basically, and a UV reflector to try to keep it cool. But typically, if you read the instructions on these, you're going to need to have about 3/4 of an inch of gap. So, and it's not glued, so that's the other concern with it. So we're going to end up cutting this back, dropping them inside the bays to help them give them that, so we can get bond. Oh, we're going to redeck this one. We got all this rot right here, so this doesn't look too bad at all. It looks more water stained than anything. We're still going to hit it with mold kill, but I got to replace this piece. And then I got this one right here that's pretty rotted, so I got to figure that one out. And then this whole stretch right here, there's a band. There's a band right here, that's what they call it. Much like when you build a deck. You build a deck, you put a band joist, some call it a ribbon. That's basically what it does. It keeps them all together. Everything else looks pretty good. So it's just a matter of this one section. And then I think inside the ceiling to the shower area is rotted, and we'll got some damage, some staining on it, but it doesn't look like it's fallen down. This piece that you see is our protective piece, and it popped loose. So my hammer had fallen down in there when I was trying to use it with a pry bar. Actually, it popped it loose. But we'll get that tightened up. We don't want any trash getting inside there. They're all blocked off, all of them. We block them all off so we don't get dirt and debris inside the coach. And the coaches are all, they've got pads and throws all over them, so we don't track anything inside there at all. But like I said, all this will come up, and then that's what I'm investigating now. The other thing we look for are these wires right here. This doesn't have an actual ferrule, but there's an aluminum frame. What they did, I don't know if you can see down in there, that aluminum, they just drilled a hole through the aluminum frame. So we'll be putting in some protective bushing so this thing doesn't get compromised. And then I'll be looking for some more of those wires. I saw another set around here somewhere. They were further in though, so they weren't on the coming through the wall. They were further in. They looked okay. But like I said, we're going to check it all when we do it, because that's the time to do it. Also, we'll be checking the trunk lines that run down for the AC. And I think there's only one AC on this big monster, so we'll have to figure that out too if they want to put another one in. I don't know, now would be the time to drop those wires if they're not there. But a lot of times, especially up in the bunk, there it is. See that wire? That's a prep. That's a wire prep to put the AC, and you can see the trunk line there. But there wasn't. I don't believe there was an AC there. I believe it was just maybe it was. I can see a slight impression right there, but that would be tough just to have one AC right up front. I would imagine they'd want another one somewhere, but if they do, if you want to drop a wire now, we'll pull it somewhere, then that would be the time to do it. But well, let me get to work and try to figure out all this mess so we can get that back together. This is what we saw earlier. Looked like it was rotted, so I shaved it down. It's not really rotted, but that tail is. So this piece was right in here. That's one I told you is a band. We took it out, and also this blocker right here. So I'm obviously going to replace that. That's a lot of that's just surface. So I'm going to spray it with some mold kill. That's what we're going to do. And then the wall is right there. Really, like, let's see. There it is. So I've only got about a finger's width with that sitting on. That I don't like. So I got to fix that. So here's my fix. I'm going to slide this plate. Here's a piece of 16 gauge steel. I'm going to slide it up underneath these two trusses here, and then I'm going to glue it and secure it in there, and then that will bridge and give the strength it needs for it to sit on, and that'll be okay. It'll be a quick, easy fix for it, and a long-term fix. So then I've got these here, and I don't like that through that aluminum. I was telling you that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in here. These are pennies. When I say these RV manufacturers won't spend one more red cent, they won't. That's just going to go down like that, and it's going to protect this wire, see, from that aluminum frame. That's what it's going to do, like that. So that's how that'll sit. But we still got to get these pieces in here, and like I said, glue all this in and mold kill it. But I really want to get some mold kill on now, because I don't want to put the fresh lumber on top of any of that. That may not be able to get soaked down. So we use concrobium. Concrobium is the best on the market. So some people say you can use this, that, the other thing, but the concrobium, I think it's like $40 a gallon. If I can solve this problem for 40 bucks, I'm not using a whole gallon, but if I could for 40 bucks and make sure there's no mold, that's short money. So that's why I just use the best product on the market, whether it's for mold kill in this case, or even adhesives, or things you need to last, like you don't have a chance to do it the second time. If you do, it'll probably have a lot more damage to try to fix it. Just do it right, buy the good stuff, just get it done right. You know, yeah, it's a little more expensive, but it's gonna be worse if you have to do it twice. And I don't want to do it twice. So, well, let me get making all these and getting that mold kill and squirting it all in there. When I put this on, I want to give it a nice generous coating. And then once that's going to dry up, I got to come back, I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to do 2 applications on this thing. If one's good, 2 is better. So, let it soak in there pretty good. I know there's a little bit on the ceiling here, so I'm just going to stretch over all that. Got wet, so I'm just going to put a nice generous amount on there. Might as well. Like I said, it'll dry up. We'll come back to it one more time. We got plenty to do anyways. Like, we gotta still strip the rest of the roof and everything, so we'll come back and get it. Alright, so what are we doing? Check it out, here's a wire. See the metal piece down there? Let's see if I can get this camera around here. See that? You can see how it's kind of wearing on there. We're actually probably gonna put a piece of loom. I got loom, I'm gonna slice it and we're gonna feed it on, and it'll go down inside there. It'll be a little inside there and come over. So we got loom. I don't know if I have any more of them redhead things. Here's another bunch of wires over here. Let's check these on. I said I like to check them all. Like to check them. You know, I'm still going to put them in whether they're compromised or not, because I don't want it to be compromised. I don't want someone to roll down the road, and then when they roll down the road, they that is the last bit of that wire, and then they go to plug it in or something, and something doesn't work. What do you think they're going to do? Obviously, they're going to call me and say I put a screw through something. And look at it here. See? Look at that screw. And there's a wire. Screw and wire right there. Actually, I didn't even notice that, but if you look, there's a screw hole. Well, we'll definitely be marking that out for sure. So, then what we're doing over here, we're going to do on both sides, but I'm just showing you what we got open. So there's the loom we're going to be putting in. See? We're going to feed it down inside there. Bear with my camera work here. We don't have those fancy channels and episodes. Maybe we should give it episodes and have a fancy intro. That's it. That's all you need. It'll stay. It's good. So we got that one. Look at this one here. Look at this. See how sharp those are? Those are really, really sharp. Let's see what this looks like on this side. Sometimes you'll see little score marks. So we're gonna do the same here. If we can't actually get the loom in there, I'll find some more of those little redhead pieces. But we want to put one there. We want to put one on here. That's already bent over. It's not compromised, but we're going to put one in there. So that's what we're doing, checking every single thing. The other thing we're checking is right here. We're checking all these AC lines, you know, the junctions where they come together. So we want to make sure they're all taped up good. But if you get down this end, it was, oh, look at this. You can actually see the tape loose right, where is it? Get the camera over there. You can see the tape loosened up. See it? So, and then there's another one over here. Something must be good and funny. Hey, I'm videoing. No one wants to hear your dirty jokes. Right here. So that's what we're doing. We're checking all those, and we want to get them all taped up properly. Because you have to do it now. What are you going to do? If something breaks, if that duct line breaks, you got to take ceiling out, you got to take roof off. Somehow you got to access it, right? So that's what we're doing. And then checking everything over really good. And get everything all protected. Again, here's another one, and that's why we're going to put all that loom in there, and we'll get them all squared away. And then after we get all that, then we can start decking it. What we're doing here, we're putting an aluminum sleeve on the inside. That's what we're doing. Whoop. So that'll add some strength to the ductwork, and then we're going to tape it all up. Because they keep breaking, you just put tape on it, there's no strength to hold it all together. So we want to put that in there to add some strength. So we just fabricated those up. Lock them back together, tape them up, and we know they're not going to break apart. Alright, what we're doing now, we've got the air conditioners, we got those all, the duct lines, we got those all done. Pardon me. And then what we did is just tape those wires down because we don't want them to interfere over here when we go and staple this roof down. So we're doing that. And then some of them, you know, like these ones here, they wanted to rise up, so we just put a couple of pins just to hold it down out of the way so when we shoot the staples in. And on the other side, now we're also vacuuming it out. That's why we got the attachments here. I want all that junk out of there. I want to see make sure it's clean. But I put these in. They're just metal drops that go in there to protect that wire. I slid it behind there. And then also we won't be able to put a wire down through the top. I did them to all of them. And that's what we're doing now. We'll vacuum all this out. Like I said, we've already done it all the way to all those. I got another plate right here. Same thing. We just want to make sure it's all set to go so we don't have any issues. Oh, wow. I didn't see that one under there. I don't know if we're gonna look at that one. I'm gonna take a look at that in a second here. You can see, if I can get the light in there, I'll get the camera down a little better. Maybe even a little closer. You can see right there where it was pinched, you can see a little score, and it's like it's just driving into the insulation. It's up high. We're going to cut that, we're going to fix it, and then we're going to splice that back together. I don't like that at all. So these are some of the things you're not going to get if you do a spray on roof. You won't, let me unblur this for you, but you're not going to get that getting a spray on roof. And these are all the concerns that we see. That's why we typically tear up a roof, let someone just dead set against it, but that's what we do. You don't want to have all this stuff. That'll be a problem down the road eventually, if not now, maybe another year, who knows. But if it's already digging into it, it's going to keep digging into it. So, like I said, we're going to cut it, then we're going to fix it, then we get another splice. These are the splices we made up. We're going to put them in the ductwork and adjoin it, and I put them on the inside, so now the ductwork has enough strength. If you put it over it, the ductwork could still collapse and it would interfere with the actual airflow. Alright, so this is what we got. You can see just how sharp that is right there, the edge. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this loom in, because that's crazy. I don't know why they even did it. And it's see how far it's coming up? That's making it even worse. So we're going to put some loom in there. So you can see that we couldn't get the loom in there, so we put in a bushing. It's a protective bushing. These are what they are. These are electrical code actually for instances like that, or like especially for BX cable, flexible metal cable is what it is. You have to use these. So we're getting it glued down. You see we got all that glue in there. We're gonna staple the heck out of it.
And that is tube number 5.
And that is tube number 5. We spare no expense. So that's what we're up to. We got most of it done, actually all of it done, all the way down there. So we got but one more sheet right here. We are gonna get ready for roofing. Listen to that beautiful staple gun music. Bap, 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 bap. Gotta love it. All right, we got the roofing already down. We already got it glued. I was trying to get it there, but I had to. That one's got a transition up at the top. I'm kind of short-handed, so I had to get up there and do it myself. So now all we're doing is just hitting it with the balance roller. Then we're gonna go over it with the big heavy roller, and that'll get us tight. We've got most of it all done. You can see the roof's still a mess. Got all our curves welded. Got the vents down. We got to give another strike around the vents. You see we tape it off so it looks nice and pretty. We tape this off so we put a strike, looks nice and pretty. And then the other thing we're working on right now is right here, right above this slat out here. We're gonna reseal that because it was already coming apart. And then also down that other awning, and I'm going to check over these windows. Anything I can see pretty much from my platform up, I'm going to check. If it looks compromised, we're going to reseal it. So you see we got everything all taped off. So we'll check all that and make sure that's sealed well. And obviously we just haven't done anything yet. We got to get that corner mold's on. It's just we had to put it back on, right? So we'll clean that up. And then down here, like I said, we'll check everything. We'll go all around the coach and we'll look at everything. So make sure it's all set. So these are all this tape is like measurements and stuff to make sure that everything goes back where it should. That's the way we do them. So again, on this top of this, we're going to scratch that out. I'm going to put some good stuff in there, and then I'll take all this down, check the windows, check the door. I want to check everything. I want to make sure it's all set. That anything from our, like I said, from our platform up. This way, I mean, I don't want someone calling me up saying, hey, I got a roof leak. Well, it really wasn't here. It was coming from here, and well, that wasn't on the work order. It's right in front of my face, so we're going to do it. We replaced all the insert trim. We did all that. And so we'll go around this window. It doesn't look like anything's on this window at all. Like literally nothing. So we'll go around that. Little crumb of a butyl there. That's what it is. See how it's all cracked? Yeah, it's all dried out. Butyl it's good if it's not exposed to the sun, but once that UV light starts hitting it, it dries it out and it'll actually attract water. So we'll get rid of all that nonsense. Still got to put this back together, and then we'll get our couple of licks on here. And then that's your air conditioner. We only had one, evidently, but must have worked to keep the whole thing cool. But way back there anyways is the toy hauler part. So, and that's about us. That's what we're working on right now. Kind of give you an update. You can see how there's our plumbing. So we'll load those with some sealer, and then a cap goes on it. There's the cap. So that'll go on, everything will be sealed. All right, onward and upward. See, that's what I was saying, that butyl. Watch what happens. Hey, that's just going to attract water. Get all that stuff off of there when you go around. Clean it out. And we use these little plastic tools here, but go all the way around it. And I want to make sure everything here. I'm going to probably just go around the top. Then I went around this over here already. And then, like I said, we're going over everything else, double check. You know, even around this light. I'll take the tape off of this. Okay. We're gonna take that out. It's all silicone. It's no big deal. It'll only take a second. You can see. But we'll take it out, and then we'll clean that up and put a lick on that, just to be sure. We'll do that. Like I said, get all our tape off. We'll probably reach down and get that window if I can. You know, like I said, we just want to make sure someone doesn't come back and go, hey, I got a leak. Yeah, it's coming from your light. It's coming from this. It's coming from that. You know. So do a thorough job here. We are done with our Fuzion. We got our logo on here, RVRI, November 20. That's when we got all this installed. So we put that on there so folks can see when we see it come back. If there's any issues with it, we want to know how old this roof is, how it's doing, how it's faring. That's what we want to do. And then also, if the customer goes to sell it, I don't want anybody walking up here and saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to put a roof on this thing. You know, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Try and talk them down. You go, hey, wait a minute. This thing's only been put on a couple of years ago. What are you, crazy? So that's the other reason we do it. But we do like to see how old it is to see how well it's performing when it comes back. So that's why we put those on there. You can see we got the ladder all squared away right here. We got our nice boots in here. We got those all sealed. Then the ladder on this one hooks and it goes down the side. That's the way this one works. And there's a couple of pins down there that hold it in. One of the other things I did, this is all solid clear. That stuff is so clear. It is just really, I like to use it on certain things, because if you put white on there, this isn't really white, so it just wouldn't look right. So we put the clear on there. We resealed all around here, like I had mentioned earlier we were going to do. And then we've got everything else done. We've got 2 strikes along our turn bar gutter right here. We've got 2 strikes on there. We also went around the light with clear. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can just barely see the sheen of the white on there. Went around the windows, went around the door, went around the window. We also do this awning rail right here. So we went around pretty much anything, even this one here. And then the other thing we did, and again, going back to that clear, it is super clear, you can't tell, but we backed out every one of those screws and put a little booger dot in there, and then put the screws back, because I don't want them leaking right there. So, and the same with all these. So we got all that squared away. Anything, you know, like I said, pretty much from the platform up, we like to try to get. Don't want customers saying, hey, I got a leak. They come back and go, yeah, it's coming from here. It's not really a roof leak. It's, you know, an awning rail leak or something. So while we're here, we just try to get all that done. Got our boots all of this is all welded. So we custom make all these. Keep in mind, again, these are not DIY videos. So, but what this is a commercial grade TPO. It's 60 mil. That's what it is. It's a 60 mil. That's the thickness. TPO, which is thermoplastic, is what it is. So everything all welds together. So we make all these curbs up. We make even the boots up. Everything's all fabricated. What I like about these boots, though, because the other ones, they have the plastic on there, and then they have that ring, and then, you know, you got leaks that could possibly come from everywhere. But if a tree branch takes this off, this is all sealed up underneath here too, and any water that would go down into a holding tank. So we've got all our curbs on there. We put our new covers on there. We got a new cover there. So we had these. She had one that was this color right here, the smoke. That's what she had. So we had two smoke, and then she sent us these black ones, but they wouldn't match that other smoke one up there. And as you can see, we still got some cleaning product up here. That's what we're doing, just dolling it up. It's ready to go. Could use a new awning fabric right here down the road. But everything is all sealed, and we also got a counter flash, so that's all welded all in there. And then we got that little piece on there. That's our counter flash. Every curb has one. It's a counter flash. So when you have water rushing across the roof on a real stormy day and it's just really coming down, even if the wind wants to push it up, it's going to hit that and it's going to go to the sides. You're still going to obviously have water come down, but a lot of the issues you have, and this is why they're designed that way, is basically erosion. So when you have all that water keep going across there, you end up with an erosion effect, and that's why the die core doesn't work so well. This is the way you put together a commercial roof, the same exact way. So again, all this stuff is all fabricated. I thought there was 2 air conditioners on here, but evidently there's only 1. So you can see we got our stands on there. And again, we fabricate every single piece in here. That's what we do. And again, a couple more boots. And then the antenna, I walk around this way. So all this is all, you know, everything's all double sealed. We even made sure that when we did the gutters here, that when the water goes in, we don't want it kicking back. So we put, you know, blockers on there. One around the lights here. We got 2 strikes across the front. Put a piece of counter flash on the front there. That piece of counter flash right there, what that prevents is when the water runs down the cover, when it runs down, up underneath there is a foam gasket. I don't want that water getting pushed back into that foam gasket. Even though we do have a counter flash up underneath on the curb, this is a counter flash that goes over the counter flash, and so it'll drip down, and again, it'll get shot out that way. We just, you know, actually the gasket itself, we seal that down. I don't recommend anybody do that. The manufacturer doesn't recommend anybody doing that because the foam gasket is very particular on certain adhesives and such. So if you put the wrong one on there, it will eat it. So you have to know which ones you're using and what you're working with. And that's a lot of the work we get is due to improper installation or incompatibility. And then things break down. So again, you can see we got 2 strikes on here. And if you look real close, if you try to do the best we can, you can see that little mark right there. That's our primer. And we try to do the best we can. This has all come out really well. These are the boots here for the antenna. Those are nylon lock nuts. I don't want this thing backing out. Got them on all of them. We got the boot for the wire. So we'll say just by happenstance, if a tree branch knocks this out, or even if this unit fails, just come up here with a 1/2-inch wrench, take those out, and then you undo your coax, pop it off, go get a new one, drop it on, put the bolts on. You don't have to clear caulking out. You don't have to do anything. It would take you longer to go in and buy the antenna than it would to swap it all out. So you see you got the same thing, our counter flash up on here for the skylight. So we got all that, same for the antenna. All that's done. Everything's all set. So we're ready to go. This thing is ready for the prom. You can see again, we got some caulking right here. We went around this light here, went around that one as well. So again, we want to make sure we get everything done the best we can. Went around the window. So, and now what we're doing is just trying to doll it up. That's all we're trying to do. Just get it cleaned up. So otherwise, like I said, it's ready to go. It looks real good, nice and clean, tight. You may be able to see some shadow lines of bumps up underneath there. Those are the protective strips that we put across. Probably already showed all that. And then on this edge here, we have another protective strip on the corner. So everything's all protected so the roof doesn't get chafed at all from the you know, the siding or anything, or even the decking. So put all that down, and then that's it. So she's ready to go. It looks real well. We are happy with this. Much needed for sure on here. And by the way, this coach here, if you're watching it, and you can call us or you can send us a message through YouTube, but I believe this is for sale. So if you're interested in it, I don't know the year, but this is a toy hauler Fuzion. It's a 40-footer, nice coach. Everything looks like it's intact, but like I said, we put the roof on it. But if it's something you're interested in, we do not negotiate any pricing or anything like that. We don't do any of that. I don't get involved in it. So if you call us, what I'll do is I'll get you in contact with the owner, and you guys can negotiate the pricing and so forth. So otherwise, we appreciate you watching, and we're going to move on to the next one. Hey, do you have any of this insert trim hanging around?
Yes.
Let's see if we got some. Here it is. So the insert trim that came out of here, it just snapped in. We also replaced it here. All we got to do is go down, and we're going to fit that in there. But this insert trim sits in the track. It's got a groove in it. See? And when it goes in there, it'll go under the track and it'll go over the track. So now it's all sealed. I don't have to worry about water getting in there. The other ones, they just snap in, and then water can still get down on the underside, and then it trails up underneath here. There's quite a few of them we've pulled off, and when we've pulled them off, we've had moisture in there, so that's why I don't want them in here. This one is tucked up and around and tucked in there, but this is a much better product. We don't sell anything, so I have guys call up all the time, folks call up all the time, hey, can you sell me this, sell me that? We don't sell a thing. We're just a service center, so you could probably find some of that online. Maybe on Amazon or eBay or something. I know we got some black. The black you cannot find. You will never get the black, not unless you want to buy 2 miles of it like I had to. The RV industry doesn't want to pay the extra for the black, but it's a much better product. It doesn't make sense to me to try to put an inferior product in here. You know, it does cost a little bit extra, but it's not like it's going to change the price to, you know, thousands of dollars, that's for sure. And you know, these are expensive to do. Right off the rip, I'll tell you, they are expensive. There's a lot of work. You can see all the work we do to it. But at the same point, I'd hate to put that cheap stuff in there and get a leak in there, and then you have some damage. You go, gee whiz, you couldn't spend a couple extra dollars to put in. I mean, if it were my coach, that's the way I'd want it done. If I had a coach, which I don't. But anyhow, like I said, we appreciate you watching, and you can give us a call at 423-475-7663 if you you know, need a quote or anything. We don't quote on social media. And again, just to reiterate, these are not DIYs. There's a lot that goes into these. And I'll tell you, I've had a lot of guys come through the door and they say, hey, I've got, you know, 20 years experience. I've got 30 years experience building houses and doing remodeling and all this. This is a different animal. I'm telling you, this is a different animal. So they're really hard to figure out from one coach to the next. And again, that's why they're not DIY. I've had a couple of guys that tried to help out in the past, and this didn't work, that didn't work. They got kind of upset because they didn't think I was telling them right, but there's a lot of steps involved, and I simply don't have the time to keep going over all that stuff. But anything you need here that we use, like, you're not going to find the curbs. You're not going to find the curbs at all. You're not going to find any of that. But if you're looking for the roofing, and if you're looking for anything else, you can find it at your local commercial supply house. Just call them up and tell them what you want to do, and then they'll get you set up with everything you need. So, well, thanks for watching. Oh, that's one other thing. I know that customers, we put these together mainly for the customer, so I know the customer is going to be watching this. So typically what we do when we go for an inspection, we check all this caulking, and we kind of rub along it like that to get some friction under your fingers to see, you know, if it's you know, failed or not. And if it is the product that we use, we can go back, but typically the only reason it would fail is because there wasn't enough primer under it. So this is going to stay. Once you get the good primer under it, it'll stay. And you can see, like I said, it's just some over the caulking like that. But if the caulking got a little wider, then and you rubbed it, you may have some come off, but that doesn't mean it's not sealed down there. It just means it's not stuck in that just one area where there's no primer. So the way we check all these and inspect them, this is a checker tool, but you could use a butter knife. You could use, you know, something like even a fork or something like that. Something that's not too sharp that wouldn't poke through, because this is blunted at the end. And we just go around just like this. You know, that's how we check them. So if we had any contaminants or anything that were under there and that didn't weld well, you may have a little burp there. And you can seal that because we leave people with a care package, and then when they come back, we'll clean it, fix it, and re-weld it if we have to. But that's the way we check them. I always err on the side of caution because these are maintenance hogs. They are. They're going down the road. They're racking, twisting, flexing. So I want to make sure they're tight, and that's why I tell folks come back. In 30 days, I like to see it. If it was 60, that'd be good as well. But 30 to 60 days, come on back, and then once we do the initial inspection, then you come back once a year. So, and then every year we just keep renewing the warranty. So this is a 20-year roof system. So if somebody wants to come in every year after that, then that's great. Every year they come in, we'll renew it. We'll renew it. We'll renew it. So, and then like I said, this system in itself, all this installation, it's a 20-year system. So once we take a look at it, we don't have any problems because of the way we install it, exactly the way the manufacturer says to do so. And if you do that, and then folks come in, again, there may be something on this particular coach, this Fuzion. If I get another Fuzion, the same year, same size, same model, everything, it's probably going to rack and twist and flex a little differently. So that's why I like to see them come back, you know, within 30 or so, 60 days, so I can see if there is anything that we needed to adjust or attend to that this particular coach has a problem with, you say, and they're all different. So, and again, after that, come back once a year. We also do transferable warranties. The first 10 years, we transfer the warranty. So that's why we got the sticker in the back with the logo that we welded on there. And then those folks would come in right afterwards. They buy it. If you buy this coach, come back in, and then we'll do an inspection yet again. And then whoever buys it, if you buy it, then you'll come back in every year thereafter, and we'll renew your warranty. So pretty simple. You know, we don't want anybody doing these things twice. There's a lot of work into them. I don't want to do them twice. That's why we take the time to do them right. So, and if you see some of the issues that we uncovered, like the vent ducts, like the electrical, imagine spraying over this. If you sprayed over this, you're not going to solve the problems that are inside that deck. You're not going to solve the manufacturer's problems. The roof deck was never glued down. We glued that down. You know, they don't do that. You need to have these glued down. A lot of them say, hey, you don't need to have them glued down. You want them to flex and move. And if they flex and move, well, they're going to tax the fasteners. And when they tax the fasteners, they loosen up, and then your deck starts coming up. So and again, if you imagine spraying over this, if spraying over these would do the trick and it would solve all the problems, I'd just go buy the machine. We did commercial roofs for decades. So it's no big deal for me to go out and buy a machine if I know it's going to work. I've had expensive machines. Even if it was the last machine I had was a metal roll former. It made standing seam metal. That was 30 grand. So I've had recovery machines for commercial roofs, much like what we got up on here, and you can spray the whole thing with basically it's a recovery product. But my point is that those machines are expensive, and if I thought that it was worth it, I'm sure these companies that do this spray-on stuff, they're looking for installers. And if it was worth it for me and I felt confident with it, I would just buy the machine and do it. But I don't, because you're not solving the problem in here. So you spend, even if you got a spray job on one of these cheaper than what we can put this on here, then you get down the road and you go, hey, my air conditioner doesn't work. Oh yeah, your air conditioner is working. Well, I don't feel any cold air. Well, no, you must have a broken trunk line. Or you get down the road and that wire that's in here where we put all of the protective plugs in there, those plastic pieces, maybe that's the last bit of that wire. Who knows? You go to the campsite after you get your roof done sprayed, and now that wire doesn't work. Now what do you do? All right, you got to tear something up. It's either the roof or the ceiling to get at that wire. So unless you're going to start digging out some walls and channels, but you get my point. So that's why I like to do them thoroughly, do them right, do them once, be done with them. Be done with them. This thing, even though this is a 20-year system, this roof will get more than 20 years because a 20-year system like this is rated for it being out in the weather, being out in the sun, in the basically the environment on it. And these don't see it. These are always tucked up under trees and so forth. So you're going to get more than 20 years out of this, I'm sure. So, and you don't have to recover this at all. You don't have to put a conditioner on it at all. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to put a coating on it. You don't have to do any of that at all. You can wash this with like Dawn dishwashing liquid. You can wash it with a pressure washer, like an 1800 or even a 25, as long as you don't have a pencil point you know, pushing down real hard. If you're staying up, you know, maybe a foot or so away from it with a fan type of wand tip on there, you can soak it down with some simple green, or like I said, Dawn dishwashing liquid. You can pressure wash this whole thing down and it'll come back just as brilliant as this. So like I said, we appreciate you watching, and like I said, you've got our number. Our website is rvroofingstyle.com. Thanks again.